are these two right here. And their real resolution is to get funky on national television. What they really mean is to get funky on national television. Take a look.
Dylan Mulvaney is right back at it again, as right now he's now promoting Nike apparel. As just the previous week he was promoting Bud Light, but now it's down to Nike. And look, I can't hate on the guy. You know, it's a capitalist society. If he wants to go ahead and make the money, he's being offered it to him. Go ahead, Dylan. I ain't mad at you. What I do have an issue with is obviously society, i.e., and these companies. So Nike, just like Bud Light, as I mentioned earlier, and other companies that's promoting Dylan Mulvaney, I believe, Ulta, some cream Cerava, and I believe Crest, the toothbrush or the toothpaste companies now doing it, and a litany of other companies are supporting Dylan Mulvaney. And you have to question them because, like I said, Dylan's going to do what Dylan's going to do, and I can't hate him for that. But these other companies, why are they promoting this guy? Now, of course, you have to look further deep. You got to go underneath the rug. You can't just basically look at the exterior for what it is, but you have to go deep into it. Now, you got to realize these companies actually do profit off these things. Now, the company that I had to look at from a historical standpoint as kind of like a lab rat example or a test would have to be Gillette. Because if you recall, about 3-4 years ago, Gillette, the men's brand, the men's razor brand company, had put out a commercial that basically put men in a bad light.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
It's likely happening here in bullying, a problem.
We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long.
So I had to look back to see what's going on with them. And if you look now, Gillette's still around. You know, they're still selling shaving cream and razors and things of that nature. And during that time, they did lose money. Apparently, it was reported they lost about approximately over $8 million. But according to the CEO, it was worth it. Now, their CEO, Gary Coombe, has said, "I don't enjoy that some people were offended by the film and upset at the brand as a consequence. That's not nice and goes against every ounce of training I've had in this industry over a third of a century. But I am absolutely of the view now that for the majority of people to fall more deeply in love with today's brands, you have to risk upsetting a small minority, and that's what we've done." He said right there in broad daylight. Now, the small minority that he's talking about that you have to basically upset isn't obviously people that are transgender. The small minority is basically the people that will speak out against this, the people that will actually not buy the products, people that will actually protest against it. That's the small minority. You know, you can have a few people like myself on YouTube and so forth, maybe a few people holding signs in the street, stuff like that, but that's like a little dust off the shoulder. The mass majority are people that will go, one, be okay with this, two, celebrate this, and three, pretty much shut the hell up. You know, they're not going to say nothing. And the majority of the people are in group number 3. They're not going to say nothing when they know it's something that has to be said. And of course, the reason they're not going to say it because they, just like Gillette, don't want to lose money. They don't want to be fired. They don't want to be, ostracized. They want to be part of the in crowd, things like that. So Gillette and a lot of these companies like Nike, Bud Light, and others and so forth, when they advertise and use Dylan Mulvaney, even though he has nothing to do with their constituents or their customers, they use him basically in order to continue to push the agenda that's being pushed in pop culture in order for these companies to stay above water. They don't want to have bad PR because in the long run, that could lead to heavy litigation and also basically having their business, going to their competitors. So they'll take a little bit of a setback You know, in this case, for Gillette, lose $8 million because they know in the long run they're gonna be fine. They took their lashes. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much got whipped by the rainbow flag whipped, and now they're on to better and bigger things right now. And that's what Nike's doing. They're just basically paying their dues because they have to do it. More companies will continue to do this. You're going to see more other companies, not just with Dylan, but you have to understand Dylan is also leading a league, army of Slim Shadys. I mean, of copycats. Like right now you have that gentleman, Grant Sykes, and you have another person. You can look on TikTok, but there's another popular guy named Mercury Stardust. Big popular guy on TikTok. These are the guys that's basically going to be pushing through for the particular agenda in order to advance it even more. And these companies going to get behind them because they have to. They have to pay their dues. Then after they pay their dues, go back to regular programming. You know what I'm saying? The main things that's behind this is one, the Trevor Project, which basically is a LGBTQ nonprofit organization. They say they started about 6-7 years ago in order to help LGBTQ young adults. And also it's another thing called the CEI, which is the Corporate Equality Index. Companies need these points in order to go further. Like I said, they need that rainbow whipped to their back first in order for them to continue further to where society's going. So once they get these credits from CEI, the Equality Index, that's overseen by the Human Rights Program that are advocates for LGBTQ, then these companies can continue working the way they work, have that particular person or entity in their company to show the representation. Therefore, no bad, public relations, no type of litigation, and looks good in front of the community as a whole, and also with various politicians and special interest groups. They basically have a good standing because at the end of the day, as society is changing, it's getting more conducive and more malleable for the next generation. It's not for old cats like me, but it's really more for the next generation, pretty much under the age of 20 years old. It's for the high school and younger. And that's what Dylan Mulvaney is branded to promote for. They look at him and see that, wow, this dude transitioned to a woman and is so successful. He's making a lot of money. He's such a big influencer. He has millions, 10 millions of people, that followers on TikTok. That makes him a great influencer, of course. And then from there, they of course want to replicate it. But once society gets most comfortable with it, once our politics start reflecting it on both sides, Democrat and Republicans as well, because right now the Democrats pretty much eating it all up. It's Republicans that's actually are pushing back at it a little bit. But once that happens, then the culture, which comes downstream to companies, then the companies come downstream because of the money to politics. Because like these protesters always say, trans rights. And you're like, wait a minute, what rights do I have that a transgender person doesn't have? None. So what they're asking for, obviously, when they say trans rights are not rights. It's accommodations and special provisions. That's what they want. Special provisions meaning that we could go to your bathroom. If I identify as a woman, I could go to your bathroom. I need to be accommodated that way. I need to be able to be in your particular sport as opposed to being the sport of my biological sex, because otherwise you're denying me of what I view myself to be. And soon enough, that's going to be considered illegal. I mean, just coming down the pipeline, if you look at Canada, just recently, right now, they're trying to pass either a provision or a bill where you cannot protest or dispute against a transgender ideology within like 100 yards of like a drag show or something like that. So if they're having a drag show in a particular area up in Canada, you can't have any type of protest near there. Even if kids gonna be there or whatever's going on there, you just can't do it. That's what they're trying to push right now in Canada, and that's basically gonna trickle down into American society. So Dylan, do your job, man. You're doing you. You're taking advantage of the situation. I mean, I still disagree with what you're doing. I think you're fake. I think you're just basically trying to monetize. But hey, if they're gonna pay you and you want this dirty money, can't hate you for that, man. I understand. Like Pac said, I ain't mad at you. But for people out there, hey, are you gonna accept this or what? You gotta do some pushback on this, because they come for your children. At the end of the day, that's what they're coming for. I mean, it is what it is. So you gotta do something, and like Nike says, just do it.